Ah, welcome back, truth seekers. So, you're here to climb the truth ladder, are you? Admirable. Ambitious, even. But before you go charging upward like some intellectual Don Quixote, let's stop and address the pitfall that trips up most people before they even set foot on the first rung: defining your claim. Because if you're serious about reaching anything resembling truth, this is where you begin. And yet, so many stumble before they've even started. You see, everyone wants to be right, but precious few take the time to ask themselves the most basic question: what precisely am I trying to say? Instead, they dive into debates armed with nothing more than a vague, half-baked notion rattling around in their heads. They'll throw out statements like, "The system is rigged," or "Society's gone downhill," as if they've just delivered a profound revelation. But the moment you press them, "All right, what exactly are you claiming?" they start to stammer, their eyes glaze over, and before you know it, they're retreating into vague mutterings about the powers that be. Here's the harsh reality. If someone can't even define their own claim, they've already lost the argument. A vague, undefined claim isn't just weak, it's irrelevant. It's a fog of words with no substance, no backbone, and certainly no right to be taken seriously. It can't be tested, it can't be defended, and it most definitely cannot climb the truth ladder. So, before we even get to the fancy tools for evaluating truth, let's start with the most basic and essential demand: a clearly defined claim. And let's be perfectly clear, if you can't define your claim, or if the person making a claim to you can't explain theirs, then what's happening isn't a debate, it's verbal flailing. You're better off stopping the conversation entirely until something coherent appears. There's no point arguing over an idea that can't even be properly articulated. Now, let's begin with the foundation. What are you actually saying? Because a vague claim is like trying to climb a ladder made of mist. In our first video, we talked about possible truth, that bottom rung where ideas linger until they're ready to be tested and scrutinized. A poorly defined claim keeps you marooned down here, unable to climb, because there's simply nothing solid to grab onto. For example, let's say you want to argue, technology is bad for society. All right, but how is it bad? Are you talking about privacy violations, mental health impacts, addiction? Or is your gripe that technology has turned us all into mindless zombies, scrolling through cat videos while Rome burns? Each of these is a different claim that requires different evidence. If you lump them all together, you're not climbing the truth ladder. You're floundering around the base, waving a foggy notion that doesn't stand for anything clear or useful. A defined claim is concrete, specific, and focused. Without it, you're not debating. You're just shouting into the void, making noise, but no sense. So, if you're serious about this climb, step one is to know exactly what you're claiming. And don't just know it in your head. Be able to say it in a single, clear sentence. Because a claim that can't be distilled is a claim that isn't worth making. Let's be clear. A vague claim is going nowhere. It's like spinning your wheels in the mud. Lots of sound and fury, but absolutely no progress. If your statement is as broad as, "Big corporations are evil," ask yourself, what does that mean? Evil in what way? Are we talking about environmental harm, worker exploitation, price gouging? Without specifics, you're just making noise. And while that might feel satisfying, like a righteous howl into the abyss, it's not moving you up the ladder. It keeps you stuck in possible truth, a murky swamp of ideas that haven't been defined, much less tested. And here's another trap that the unprepared fall into with alarming regularity: the temptation to pile multiple claims on top of each other, thinking that somehow this makes their argument stronger. They'll say, Technology is ruining society, ruining our brains, and ruining our relationships. Well, pick one, won't you? Each of these is a separate claim, demanding its own evidence and argument. Lumping them together doesn't make your case stronger. It makes it incoherent. If you're making multiple claims, you're not climbing the truth ladder at all. You're standing at the bottom, juggling ideas with no intention of actually choosing one. Choose a single claim, make it specific, and stick to it. Otherwise, you're just a walking contradiction, waving conflicting ideas that will collapse the moment anyone so much as pokes at them. Let's take a moment to examine some classic weak claims, the kind people love to throw around, but that will never make it past the first rung on the truth ladder. Take this perennial favorite. Money can't buy happiness. All right, but what exactly do we mean by happiness? Are we talking about short-term pleasure, long-term fulfillment, emotional security? Without specificity, we're left with a vague platitude, a nice-sounding phrase that crumbles under the slightest bit of scrutiny. Or how about this one? People are getting dumber every day. Really? And how, exactly, are we measuring dumber? Are we looking at standardized test scores, general knowledge, the number of people who believe the Earth is flat? A claim like this is the intellectual equivalent of cotton candy, fluffy, sweet, but ultimately insubstantial. It makes for a nice soundbite, but it gets you absolutely nowhere. So, here's the bottom line. If you want to climb the truth ladder, you need a defined claim. Not a vague idea, not an ambiguous sentiment. A claim. Something specific, concrete, and testable. Without that, you're stuck in possible truth, endlessly circling the base, tossing out phrases that sound profound, but go absolutely nowhere. And let's be honest, this isn't just about winning arguments or sounding intelligent. It's about genuine intellectual honesty. Defining your claim means committing to a position you're willing to defend, one that can actually withstand scrutiny. A vague claim is safe. It keeps you comfortable, free from the risk of being challenged or proven wrong. But a defined claim? That's a commitment. It's a stance. It's saying, this is what I believe, and I'm ready to stand behind it. If you're unwilling to clarify what you're arguing, if you're content to keep your ideas wrapped in foggy, imprecise language, then you're not climbing the truth ladder. You're not even on it. You're just shouting into the wind, hoping that sheer volume will compensate for your lack of clarity. But clarity is the foundation of truth. It's where real arguments begin, where real insights emerge, and where real understanding takes root. And here's why this matters. In a world choking on information, opinions, and noise, a clearly defined claim is a rare and precious thing. It's a beacon that says, I've thought about this. I know exactly what I believe, and I'm prepared to back it up. It forces people to engage with the substance of your argument, not the haze of vague ideas swirling around it. A clearly defined claim is more than just the first rung on the truth ladder. It's a statement of purpose. It's the foundation of intellectual integrity. When you define your claim, you're doing more than preparing to debate. You're setting a standard for yourself and anyone who dares to challenge you. You're saying, I'm here to seek truth, not wallow in ambiguity. So, if you're ready to climb the truth ladder, start with clarity. Make your claim something solid, something specific, something real. Because only when you know exactly what you're arguing can you begin the journey towards something truly valuable. Truth. And that, my friends, is what separates the thinkers from the parrots, the climbers from the drifters, and those who seek truth from those who merely bask in the glow of their own certainties. Thing about truth. It doesn't care about your feelings, your biases, or how deeply you want to believe something. Truth is relentless, uncompromising, and yes, sometimes uncomfortable. But it is also the most powerful force you can align yourself with. Because when you stand on the side of truth, you're not just defending an idea, you're defending the foundation of progress, understanding, and even freedom itself. The truth ladder isn't easy. It demands that you question, challenge, and occasionally abandon your own cherished beliefs. It's not for the faint of heart, but the rewards are immense. At the top, you don't just find answers, you find clarity, confidence, and the unshakable ability to cut through the noise. You become the person in the room who doesn't just argue louder, but argues better, who doesn't just believe, but knows why they believe. So, my challenge to you is this. Don't settle for the comfort of what you think you know. Don't sit content in the echo chamber of agreeable voices. Climb, scrutinize, demand better. Because the world doesn't need more people shouting into the void. It needs climbers, people brave enough to pursue truth with discipline, precision, and humility. And when you climb high enough, when you stand firm on a foundation of truth, you don't just see the world more clearly, you change it.